Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Just today we have a topic of discussion that's been brought into the public, I guess, potentially, which is Block Wars versus MCCs. As of very recent, it's become apparent that some past MCC players and current MCC players have taken a preference, I guess, to Block Wars, and I wanted to talk about it because I'm sure people would love to know my thoughts on that. And I also would like to just throw out some disclaimers, etc. In the instance that people think that there's a rivalry between MCC and Block Wars, because that is not the case. Actually, as I've possibly already said before in the past, the Noxcrew and the Block Wars staff team are friendly with each other. We talk occasionally, and we always wish the best for each other. Never do we want to have one event negatively affect the other one. It's always a mutual, positive thing. All right? Just before anyone is curious, okay? I just wanted to say that. Either way, you might be talking about, what's the topic of discussion about? So what are you talking about? Starts here, at least to the public, Toby being in Block Wars came as a bit of a surprise. Because Toby had said, I think, after MCC Party-ish, around the time where signups for MCC 35, I think, the most recent one, came out, Toby had sent some chat messages in a Twitch chat that were then posted on the Reddit, which I do not have here. I should have probably gotten those. But it was something like, I just not signing up for MCC for now. I'm liking other stuff, so yeah, that's why I'm not in this one. And then that... Recently, this was sent to me. This is from the MCC Discord, I think, MCC event chat. There's a person who's like, I'm sure this has been said already, but it's safe to say that Tubbo has not quit MCC since he's in this Block Wars. And I've also said this many a times. MCC and Block Wars are not related. The only thing that both events do in comparison to each other is checking dates and making sure that the event doesn't take place on the same day. That's the only thing that the two events have in common, okay? And I guess there's obviously player overlap, etc., but that's not, the event hosts don't really care about that, okay? It's just the dates that we pay attention to. Also, the players don't play in Block Wars to join MCC. They don't play in MCC to join Block Wars. The things are not related, okay? People just like an event. They can like two things at the same time. It doesn't really mean that because someone plays the one thing, that they also want to play the other thing, and we'll get to the reasoning why I think things are the way as they are. Also, I got sent this clip from Purpled, which I think was from yesterday. Pausing the music so you can hear him talk. Here is a little snippet of it.
My last 5-ish Block Wars, I've had more fun than my last 5-ish MCCs. That is definitely biased because my teams haven't done as well my last couple MCCs, but I don't know. It's just
we don't have to really get into it. I wanted to attach the little thing on the end because I could have just clipped Purple saying, my last 5 Block Wars, I've had more fun than the last 5 MCCs, and then people would have been like, wow, that's crazy, but it's biased. I already knew that that was going to be the case, but it is interesting to see people publicly talk about this now. To put into perspective, I guess, I will not say names, but over the past couple of months, several players have either told people who told me that they that we're enjoying Block Wars more than MCC, or people have told me directly, etc. Now, obviously, I'm very happy to hear that in favor of Block Wars, because obviously we put a lot of effort into it, and I like seeing things, get the deserved recognition. However, I want to make sure that the public doesn't shift their behavior towards MCC just because Block Wars or their streamers are in Block Wars more, because I know that there will be people who do that if this becomes more of a thing, and I just wanted to make sure that that doesn't happen, or at least that my audience doesn't do it, because I know that most of you probably will be Block Wars fans due to, you watch me and I organize Block Wars. That completely makes sense, but you're probably also either fans of MCC or at least actively pay attention to it, because otherwise, half of the channel is about MCC pretty much, so that would make sense. Either way, let me just tab in here because it's active gameplay. So, I lost my train of thought. Oh, my take on MCC versus Block Wars, by the way, is I think it's not a fair comparison. obviously MCC in Season 3 has been very much more laid back in terms of things being changed, new content, new players, etc. Things have been more focused on polishing rather than innovating and growing, etc. And that's fine. Like that, I mean, that's a choice they make, and I mean, we know what the results of it are. I know that a lot of people are talking very negatively about it. Thank you for the advertisement. Anyways, I know a lot of people are talking negatively about it. It's something that makes sense to do, and clearly some players just, I mean, it's also been like 4 years of MCC. Clearly some players just, no longer feel like playing, and that's fine. In contrast, Blockwars is very much in its early stages still. The event is actively growing, actively changing things. It's not a fair comparison to MCC, but that doesn't mean that like people can't like it more than MCC. That's fine by me, obviously. I mean, that's okay. Either way, I also think if you look at someone like a Curryway or like a Feinberg or like even myself or like a Radunes, etc., if you put them in MCC now, they would probably say that they like MCC more. And that's also just because a lot of the MCC players, due to the roster being very similar, have just played a lot. They don't get benched as often because, I mean, there's not that many people to cycle in and out for every season. And yeah, I mean, Blackwars, they also don't really get, depending on who you look at, they don't really get benched that much, but for the most part, I wouldn't say that's necessarily more notable or less notable to get benched in either of them. Either way, I think it's just because there's been very few, like, fresh faces, fresh content, where, because of a lack of fresh content, the active MCC players are, they're just like, well, Blockwars is more new, so I want to have something new sometimes, and that's okay. And because of the lack of fresh faces, you will have the people that are currently in the roster get put in the play more, and you won't see like many fresh faces be like, I like MCC so much, it's great, because I still honestly think MCC is probably better than Blockwars. I mean, in my opinion, considering I'm heavily biased towards Blockwars, I still say that should give you pretty good insight that, I very much value MCC. But I'm sure that if I had been playing MCC for 2.5 years, when I was a tester like 2 years ago, if I had still been a tester to this day, I would have probably also had the opinion of, well, I like Blockwars more, just because I've played it less, and it's at least somewhat similar in quality to MCC, that, it's still good, and I just prefer it. Does it mean that it's necessarily better? No. Either way, that's pretty much the main premise of this video, the main part. Just wanted to make sure that people know that Blockwars versus MCC, as much as it will become a more relevant debate due to the amount of the contrast, if it's a graph of like MCC and Blockwars, MCC would probably currently be like a line that's pretty high up on a graph in terms of like quality, fresh, whatever, like just event experience, like very, very slightly declining over time just because of it being around for long. Not saying that anything's bad, obviously. Or Blockwars is probably like an exponential graph that's like curving upwards. I don't think they're quite at the same level yet. Maybe they're getting very close. I haven't really, I mean, it's not something I pay attention to that much, but yeah. Hey, things are looking good for Blockwars, and I really, really hope that MCC comes through with a like, a crazy, like, something cool to get the attention rolling back, because they deserve it. The Noxcrew does an amazing job. Like, they deserve it. I just, yeah, it's an interesting debate to talk about. So yeah, that's pretty much my take on it. Okay, I like MCC. Do I think Blockwars is better than MCC? No. Do I understand that people enjoy it more than MCC if they've, for whatever reason? Yeah, sure. But I would also understand the other way around. I mean, it's neutral to me. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Tomorrow we'll be talking probably about, like, what if X person joined MCC? Which shows I care about MCC. Yeah, just wanted to preface that before people think I'm heavily biased, because I'm not, okay? Anyways, thank you all for watching. See you later. Goodbye.